One of the things that I realized really quickly with this type of a photo was that much more than the photo itself, it was a great experience for everybody involved. And as a wedding photographer, I'm the guy who shows up amongst this crowd of people who are close friends, and I have to integrate myself with them really quickly. So I found that this photo, doing right away with the wedding party, is a really good way for them to realize that this guy Matt isn't a normal wedding photographer, that he's willing to go above and beyond and do things that are a little outside of the box. And instantly that gets people on my side and willing to work with me. So after about 10 tries of doing this one shot at a time, I was ready to give up, but the wedding party said, no, we want this shot, this is pretty cool. So eventually it took about 40 tries, and on the 40th one I got something that was usable, and they were really excited about it. So I thought, that's kind of a cool thing. It's more than the photo, it was a cool experience for everybody involved. Those first few times I was always looking for a spot that was a soft landing for my camera, and after half a dozen or so of those, I decided that maybe I should try something a little more risky. Since that point, I've always looked for spots that were more dangerous looking. Over water, in the snow, on rocks, overlooking cliffs, anything that looked dangerous from the camera angle is what I would look for. So that's what I've been doing. So the gear I use for this kind of shot, the biggest, most important thing is the camera body. And the reason the camera body matters is because of the balance in the photograph. If you're using a smaller type of a body, it's harder to keep balanced when you throw the camera in the air so it's pointing at the ground. With this bigger type of body, it just seems to have the proper weight to where you toss it, the camera stays pointing down. For the lens, I use a Sigma 12 to 24 millimeter lens. The biggest and most important thing is that 12 millimeters that gets us a nice wide angle, and especially in places like this, it gives us a really unique look. So the most important setting for the camera in a shot like this is the shutter speed. Because I spin the camera when I throw it up in the air, I need that shutter speed to be as fast as I can get it. After I get my shutter speed, my next setting is to usually boost the ISO up to close to 6400, or even higher if I need to. And that's a nice thing about this camera body, is that I have lots of room with the ISO, and that also will allow me to stop down the camera to f8 or something in that range, which, being 12 millimeter at f8, we have a really wide gamut of what's going to be in focus. So the question I'm asked most often is, do I ever worry about dropping it, or do I ever drop it? And I can honestly say that I've never dropped it, and I've never worried about dropping it. I grew up playing lots of baseball, and so it just so happens that one of the skills that I had before picking up a camera was that I'm pretty good at throwing and catching things. The joke I usually make is that my camera is safest on a wedding day when it's in the air, because I'm actually paying close attention to it, as opposed to the rest of the time where I'm wearing it on my hip and it's banging into things. So the way I usually throw it is, when I toss it, I give it a little spin so the lens stays pointing down. I can show you here really quick. Is it okay?
I don't know. Oh man. It's in the water. Oh man.